England. Dawn. Somewhere in the heart of the English countryside, a remarkable man is beginning to make his way to work. A market trader? No. Milkman? No. But this man is an integral part of the early morning scene. His name? Adrian John. And his occupation? Disc jockey to the nation.
The funny thing about coming into London in the winter time is you'd think that apart from a few newspaper vans that you were the only person coming in the early hours. In the summer you realise that in fact there were actually people standing at the bus stops but you couldn't see them. There are long queues at the bus stops in the morning. A lot of people are working early. Market traders, all sorts of people work funny hours, shift hours. A lot of mums working, so they have to work flexible hours. So I find that the audience is getting bigger. Research has shown that the morning audiences are getting bigger. Principally, of course, because I'm presenting this show, but also because the habits of the British people are that they are getting up a little bit earlier. I like to think that I'm somewhat responsible for that.
Adrian's mission to drag us out of bed earlier begins at 3:15 in the morning.
Drive up to Radio 1, which is a distance of about 30 miles, and then make my way through a complex network, a sort of labyrinth of tunnels beneath Broadcasting House. You have to put special passes through doors and code words and punch out numbers on keypads. Sit down in the studio and get my first record ready, and then eagerly await the moment when the big red hand hits the top and I can launch off into my act.
Jitterbug. You put the boom boom into my heart. You send my soul sky high when your loving starts. A jitterbug into my brain. It goes to bang 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 till my feet do the same. But something's bugging, something ain't right. My best friend told me what you did last night. You left me sleeping in my bed. I was dreaming, but I should have been with you instead. Wake me up before you go. Don't leave me hanging on like a yo-yo. Wake me up before you go. I don't wanna miss it when you hit that high. Wake me up before you go. Cause I'm not planning on going solo. Wake me up before you go. Take me dancing tonight.
Hello, this is Bruno Brooks, and this is a day in the life of Radio 1. Starting with Adrian John and the early show.
Radio 1.
Good morning, it's 5:30. Welcome to Radio 1's World of Music.
Across the UK, Britain's favorite Radio 1. Adrian John.
Well, here we are again. How are you feeling this morning? Did you have a rough night last night? Tell you what, while you're listening to this record, I'll nip outside, make you a nice cup of tea. Do you have sugar? 1 lump or 2? None? Okay. At other times of the day, the whole world is up and everybody's listening. And so therefore, you've got to be addressing a group of people. But it's very one-to-one in the morning. Some people are sort of creeping about their home in the early hours, trying not to wake up somebody else, trying not even to wake up the dog. One of the things I do is I do tell my listener when to get dressed in the morning. I think that's very important because, I mean, I've taken all this time and trouble to come into the studio and to do my bit and to get ready. And I think the least they could do is leave their clothes off just for a little while. Where I run into trouble is when I don't tell them that they can do it. I had one person who didn't leave his home for 3 days because I did it for 3 days on the trot, and he just so into the program didn't get dressed.
Thank you very much, Adrian.
Good morning to you. We've got a lot of good music for you. Playing your favorites, old and new. So good morning from all of the crew. Here he is.
It's me.
Simon Mayo.
It's all very well, Adrian John, talking about not putting on any clothes on in the morning, but the whole nation is going to get arrested going to a good morning, it is Wednesday. I'm actually very good at that time of the morning, so that when I wake up at 5 o'clock, like the first few minutes are, I really want to go back to sleep. But then a cup of coffee or something and I'm okay. And then into the studio by 5:45, go through all the papers. sort out if there's anything of amusement in there to ramble through. I have to work out what I'm going to say in the next link. I mean, a lot of people think you have scripts, but you don't. You work out roughly what you're going to say, and then you just let it happen and see what comes out. There are trailers to play for other programs. There's the weather jingle and the traffic jingle and the stupid Simon Mayo jingles that we got. So it's quite a joy if you have a 5-minute record. Never mind what it sounds like. It gives you 5 minutes just to sort yourself out, read the weather, read this, that and the other, and get yourself prepared for the next link. So it's 2.5 hours of non-stop work, really.
The M1 in Buckinghamshire, always bad, but particularly bad this morning because the contraflow...
There's a very real element of it happens the second it does happen. You know, the travel news comes in, we do it. The weather happens, we do it. So it can't really be prepared.
Simon Mayo, good morning, Radio 1.
7:08. And we say good morning to Rod Mackenzie with the headlines. Morning, Rod.
Good morning, Simon. In about 40 minutes...
One of Radio 1's most important jobs in the morning, of course, is to bring us up to date with the overnight news. Not all of it very serious.
Nuclear weapons. And a farmer in Toulouse in southern France has found a 3-legged duck amongst an otherwise normal brood on his duck pond.
Yes, of course he has, yes.
The details are that the proud owner says the third leg is the same size as the other two, and what's more, the creature can both swim and walk normally.
Do you make these up?
Certainly not. It's all true, and you know it.
Oh, dear. Full details at 7:30, and this is just a great record. Good morning. The breakfast show is different to almost any other programme, other than perhaps Adrian's early show, because you know what almost everybody is doing. You know that you are waking people up.
And among those being woken up are the people who've been sleeping out of doors, or at any rate getting up at the crack of dawn so as to be sure of pole position for the Radio 1 Roadshow. Some people will do anything to get a glimpse of Gary Davis.
Radio 1, good morning.
All together.
Mayo, Simon Mayo. Daylight come and we one wake up.
It will catch on, really. People are very sensitive in the morning, and they're not in the evening. You can yell at them in the evening, you can play them an hour of heavy metal or whatever, and people can take that. But in the morning, people like to be treated rather gently, and a lot of people can't stand people who are too jolly. Oh, shut up.
Got something to say. I'm gonna put this dream in motion. Never let nothing stand in my way when the gun gets tough.
Well, Radio 1 has been waking the nation up, getting it off to work or just getting it up, playing to it whilst at work and bringing it back home again for 21 years now.
Across the river, that's a prize.
21 years of pop music. Where will it all end?
Yes, 21 years ago it was roll over Beethoven and shove off Shostakovich.
Radio 2, Radio 1, go.
Yes, 1967, and Britain gets its chance to tune in to the first ever national radio station, devoted exclusively to pop music. Isn't that so, Tony?
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to the exciting new sound of Radio 1.
On hand were the new style disc jockeys, eager to get down, get on it, and move with the groove for the nation's edification. And there are certainly no shortage of ice-cool daddies and red-hot mamas eager to make the most of the occasion. In fact, here's one young fella who's absolutely lapping it up. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing, of course, but luckily there was no shortage of chaps like young Dave Cashier, eager to rip it up, whoop it up, and rock and roll all night long. Well, until 7:30 at least, at which time the frequency reverts to the light programme. And here's a glimpse of the sort of chaps we're going to be hearing from in the future, providing they last that long, of course. This sort of music isn't to everyone's taste, of course. In fact, some might ask you to jolly well put a sock in it. And that goes for the people who listen to it too. Isn't that so, Mrs. Potts?
Do you see these people with flowers in their hair? All ridiculous.
Perhaps so, Mrs. Potts, but in the meantime the watchword is go man go and just watch those hep cats swing on this, Britain's first ever national pop station.
Good time music. Right.
8 o'clock, and Simon Bates is already at work finding out what's been happening in the world of entertainment whilst the rest of us were asleep.
I'm probably the luckiest disc jockey on Radio 1 because I miss the rush hour. I come in before the rush hour starts in central London, and then read the papers, and then start making phone calls. And I find with public relations people and promoters and the kind of people who manage pop groups, if you catch them at home before they've had a shave and a cup of coffee, or before they've gone out to work, they'll very often tell you what's going on, and then think about it later and say, why did I tell Simon Bates that? And those will give us access to backstage all the way through. Is that right? It's very much a 24-hour thing. If I get a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning from America at home, the one thing I don't do is object to it.
I bet you wondering how I knew I'll show plans to make me blue with some of the guys you knew before. Between the two of us guys, you know I love you more. It took me by surprise, I must say, when I found out yesterday. Don't you know that I heard through the grapevine?
It's Billy Joel. Yeah?
Feedback from the public is absolutely vital. I mean, they're our eyes, ears, nose and throat in every sense. We get it through road shows, through outside broadcasts when we actually meet people. You also get phone calls, inevitably, from the public, and they can ring in whenever they want to. I'm delighted to hear from them. And letters. Letters aren't always complimentary. The complimentary ones are lovely. The ones that say, for heaven's sake, Batesy, pull yourself together, those are the ones that are usually useful. And we are accused occasionally of being out of touch because we broadcast from London. That's the reason we do the outside broadcasts. That's the reason that they're an integral part of our policy. And I think that's the reason as well that we do, for example, the discos that we do and the charity fundraising events, because it's very important to get disc jockeys and engineering staff and executives down and up to all the parts of the country and to make sure that we're all seen and that we all communicate with the different areas of Great Britain. I like outside broadcasts that have a reason and a purpose. I like going from A to B, which we did with the bed push, which we did with the canal trip that we did. I like an outside broadcast that has a reason. The Roadshow is a good example of a broadcast that has a reason.
The Radio 1 Roadshow is 15 years old now and has become something of an institution in its own right. Every year it travels to 45 resorts, playing now to a staggering 500,000 people. 10 million visitors since it started, and it's a lot of fun. But don't just take my word for it.
Guys and girls, now then, here we are with Mr. Stephen Wright, very super guy. Now then, on the Radio 1 Road, don't you love him to death, guys and girls? Now then.
Are quite different from studio work because you've got the audience right in front of you and you have to go out there and generate that kind of enthusiasm amongst, say, up to 2,000 people sometimes, even more. The idea of the roadshow is like kind of a circus. The circus comes to town, it's exciting. The roadshow is brilliant.
77 Radio 1 Roadshow. Live from Toronto Meadows, talking with Talk Radio Man Steve Wright.
What is nice about road shows or going out and doing gigs or any personal appearance is that you know if things are working on the air or not. You can see the response to what you're doing on the air, and when you go out, you're confronted by the listener right in front of you. He or she is just a foot away from you. So that's great. That's what you want. It's how you really find out. It's the ultimate research.
So that's the problem. Here we go. Excuse me. Here, what's your name? Stop doing that.
Simon always says you could stick a twig up there and get the twig to put on the headphones and do the roadshow. It isn't the personality that they flock to. It's the fact that it's the Radio 1 Roadshow and it's legendary. And it kind of runs itself.
Who's the impressionist? Where? What are you doing wearing white socks? Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh, look, we have a lofty lookalike here. Yeah, that's right, Steve, yeah.
You have to be a lot more animated than you would normally be. You have to extend your personality a little bit more. But it's fun to do, and we always come up with a new game. You know, we have the boiling oil one year, and we have Gaylord the Gorilla, or we always think of some kind of zany game, something unusual and a bit bizarre to do on stage so that it becomes memorable.
to meet some of these audiences like you do on the roadshow, 25,000 people at a time, is quite incredible. And I really enjoy it, I really do, because so many people turn up and they really are with you. Every single one of those people down there are fans of Radio 1. They like what we do, they like everything about it, and they go bananas. It's just brilliant. We go all around the country, mainly just turn up really and do a few competitions and get the audience going, etc., and put all the tricks out the bag.
Right. Who recorded the first one as the winner? Who recorded The Look of Love? ABC. ABC is right, so that's Dave. He's the winner. Give a nice round of applause. Well done, Dave.
Roadshows are a heck of a lot of fun. I mean, it's something that we all look forward to getting out, because it's rather like a school trip. You know, you look forward to the 1 or 2 weeks out that you get every year, and it's like actually like being part of a travelling circus as well, because I mean you just move in one huge convoy from resort to resort. I've never played a record on a Radio 1 roadshow. I refuse to do it. I'm on the front of the stage just having fun with the crowd the whole time. So even whilst the records are playing, I'm whooping the atmosphere up and having a laugh. So that's great fun. Really enjoy that. In programme terms, it's quite a tough show to do. It sounds very easy, but it's very tough because you have to convey all the atmosphere, because people listening can't actually see what's going on. But it is fun. I mean, I adore the roadshows, especially the warm-ups, the things that we get up to before we actually go on air, because we have a heck of a lot of fun. It's like doing a giant gig.
There he is, Radio 1's heartthrob, Gary Davis. The rest of us do our best to give satisfaction as well, you know. You're going to wear that pen out, Gary?
Say after me. We were brilliant. You have been absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much.
Next, when he's not doing the roadshow, Gary's bit in the middle.
At 12:45, I suppose I'm at my edgiest that I'll ever be, because that's just at the start and the adrenaline's flowing and everything else like that. But I love that feeling. You can't beat live work, live radio or live television. And yes, it does get your nerves going. You do get the butterflies, but eventually you learn to control your nerves and use them to your advantage as opposed to your disadvantage. So now I actually I love that feeling. I love that feeling of butterflies. I love that feeling of nerves before a live radio show or a live TV show. It's a great buzz, and that's the best feeling. I hate it if I ever have to record a radio show, because you just don't get that immediacy.
Hiya.
Well, practically all Radio 1's output is live, of course, and you can take it from me that when the second hand begins to get round to the big number 12 and you're live on air, there's just no feeling like it on earth.
Thank you, Ian.
Radio 1 Travel News.
Just before we start today, we got a message for drivers heading north on the M1 in Nottinghamshire. I mean, the beauty of radio and operating yourself is that, you know, I got so much power at my fingertips. I can do anything. Hopefully I don't abuse it, but I mean, you literally can do anything you like. You just put on your microphone and you're talking to the whole country. It's a fantastic feeling. So it's just coming up to 12:45.
The hit music station, Britain's favorite Radio 1. Gary Davis bit in the middle, Radio 1.
It's actually a very strange time of day to work, because you're dealing with probably the biggest cross-section of audience throughout the whole day on Radio 1, because you've literally got everybody. You've got school kids who are listening during their lunchtime. You've got office workers, factory workers, people driving around in cars, young mums with kids, or mums who are doing the housework. So you literally have probably the biggest cross-section of audience during the day. I think if you wondered just exactly who was listening to you, you probably drive yourself crazy, because as I said, you've got so many different types of people listening. So I just picture a bit in the middle listener, whoever he or she might be, and just sort of aim it at them, and hopefully the program appeals to most people.
Don't call me baby. The day-to-day challenge with Gary Davis.
Day one. Contact with the people who listen to the program. As with anything, you have to search for the good letters. You do have to search through, and you search out the good things. And also when we choose contestants for the day-to-day challenge in particular, because a person could be on the day-to-day challenge for up to 5 days, and in which case you don't want someone that's not very interesting. So we go through the letters very carefully, and then when we find a letter that sounds interesting, we phone the people up and have a chat with them, and just make sure that we think they'll be suitable for the day-to-day challenge.
All right, for which film did Sheena Easton perform the title track of the same name in 1981? For which film did Sheena Easton perform the title track of the same name in 1981? I'll give you 10.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It was James Bond, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
For which film?
For Your Eyes Only? No.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Oh, it was For Your Eyes Only. Okay, well done. So you're down.
When you're on air, you're totally responsible for what goes out. So we're operating everything. Anything we say, you know, we don't have scripts here. There's no formal scripts or anything. So anything you say comes off the top of your head. But it's always great to have an excellent backup team, which is what we do have here at Radio 1. We have a producer who literally is like your best buddy. You can talk to him about anything, and you bounce ideas off each other. So it's very important. I mean, sometimes, you know, you might have a day when you come into the studio and you just don't feel inspired. You just have a chat with your producer, and ideas can bounce and fly, and it makes life a lot easier for you.
In Simple Minds Mandela Day, that's good.
It's very good.
I'll tell you what you're going to play, Gary. Hi, Mark. How are you?
Another indispensable figure in the Radio 1 setup is the plugger. Larger-than-life characters. You just couldn't do without them, because the plugger is the man or the woman who actually brings you the new releases.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
We're in and out of the building all day, so you tend to know most people from the record companies. And that's good, because they're always keeping you informed about what records are coming out, what's happening where, who's going to be touring or whatever. So it keeps you very much in touch with the music industry.
Yeah.
Dutch. Yeah.
I thought they were Danish.
Dutch.
They're Danish.
They're Danish. They could be Danish this long. They could be Danish.
It says they're Danish, made in Copenhagen.
Yeah, that's in Dutchland, isn't it?
No, it's Danish, I think. It's Danish.
And they're all.
It's just a great job. I couldn't actually think of any other job that I'd like to do. And to think that you actually get paid for it. No, it is a brilliant job.
Whoa, yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Wait, hey, Mr. Postman.
One indicator of how brilliantly you're actually doing your job is the mail, literally sacks of it that pours into Radio 1. And when you've got a big competition on, you can't move for the stuff. One of the things that confuses people when they first start working for the BBC is the extraordinary variety of programmes it puts out. Sport, wildlife programmes,
He finds a giraffe engaged in a
talk shows, and, other shows.
Britain's favorite music station, Radio 1.
Good up. It's Wednesday afternoon. Yeah.
Yes, here we are in beautiful downtown Moscow. The afternoon posse are here with us. What we're doing today, we're actually out on the roof of Broadcasting House. Seriously, we can see those red buses and those black cabs and the whole of the London skyline right in front of me. What is that church there?
What is that church?
Church.
C of E, I think.
Is that C of E?
Yep.
Is it all double parked out there? You sure?
Spire.
About 4 or 5 years ago, I thought, wouldn't it be nice to do a show in the afternoons, make it a little more light-hearted, but not only make it light-hearted, add other dimensions in, and maybe try characters, whether they be real characters or pretend characters, people in the studio, afternoon boys, whatever it happens to be. I thought, well, we'll give it a go. I'm a big believer that any good television, listen to him pontificating here, any good television or radio has to have atmosphere. And, well, I thought that instead of the technical guys just sitting behind a glass and not being emotionally involved in the show in any way, just involve them. And, you know, nowadays people come over with cartridges and they say, oh, I've got this new voice for you, or Steve, how about doing this? And it's just a way of involving more people in the show. I like to think of the show as kind of open house. Like it's a party, a bit of a party atmosphere that's going on every afternoon. And really, if you're passing by the studio, you're on. You know, there's no money in it, but you're on. So it's that kind of atmosphere. In other words, what we're saying really is we don't take the work very seriously. In fact, we take it so lightly that anybody can get on. And I don't mind if somebody comes in and does a bit. It's only radio, it's not brain surgery, and it's not really all that important. So that really is the kind of atmosphere we're trying to generate there. It works.
It's 20 minutes to 7. Got a great track coming up from Simply Red and Holding Back the Ears.
Radio 1.
Me next. Holding back the years or the ears? I have to be at my best at 5:45. Whilst people are calming down, they've had a hard day's work and they started their journey to work at 7 o'clock in the morning. I've got to be bright. They're a little dull. It's my job to bring them up a little bit. So it's the middle of the day for me. Most of the people I think who listen to my show are a little younger on the whole. But because the majority are a younger audience and maybe a hip commercial audience is the way I instantly describe them, I actually like to choose very commercial music. And when listening to a record for the first time, it must hit me for the first time. And I always sort of attach a glossy poster with the records I play as well. You know, I wouldn't sort of imagine a glossy poster on a bedroom wall of the Pogues, for instance, in a 15-year-old girl's bedroom. But I'd certainly recommend, or I would expect anyway, to see a poster of, say, Bros. Of course, Mick Hucknall was on the telephone the other day. You know, we got the answer machine on our show here. He was saying how much he hated talking to answer machines. I know exactly how he feels. There's something very... The answer phone has become quite a star in its own right on my show, and believe me, you'll find all kinds of messages on it when you come in at 5:45. Some of them are quite distinguished as well.
Hello. Bruno Books, I almost said. Going on the teleprinter really isn't printing the name as successfully as perhaps it should be.
Hi Bruno, it's Kylie Minogue ringing from Melbourne, Australia. Just wanted to let you know that I was in England recently and sorry I missed you.
Answer machines are very much part of today's society and we rely on them. And I think that people like to listen to them because it gives the opportunity for them to see the other side of these well-known people as well.
For you and me, Britain's favorite Radio 1, the #1 hit music station.
The night time is the right time.
As far as people writing into the show are concerned, again, that's very important. I mean, I tend to analyse the way the letters are written as well. I have a letter here from a girl who lives in Silkworth in Sunderland. She hasn't put a name on there. It's an anonymous letter, but it's pretty often incidental details are very revealing. Someone might write in and say, for instance, "Hello, Bruno, just thought I'd drop you a line whilst I was doing my homework." Well, of course, already that sentence has told you so much.
I like
Listening to your show on Wednesday about the girl who wants to meet Simon Climby. So I really try to analyse these letters rather than just scan through them for a quick giggle. I think they're telling you more than they think they're telling you. Another Climby Fisher. I was listening to your show last night when you read out a letter from a girl who wanted to meet Simon Climby from Climby Fisher. I have a friend who knows nothing about this letter who wants to spend some time with someone famous too. She wants to go out with Gary Davis. People do actually say to me, "Don't you ever get bored with playing records all the time? Every day and every night?" You see, the great thing, though, is that every record is different. I mean, every sound is different. And that's why you buy them. And every time I play a record, I get that same feeling. Well, most of the time. A lot of fun, that. In fact, you can buy that in the shops. Actually, it's Status... Oh, sorry, they haven't finished yet. This is the end. Fine. That was the end. As I was just saying, you can actually buy that in the shops now. It's on an album by Status Squid, actually, as opposed to... sorry about that. Yes, thank you. I think that is the final end now. Another end. That is the end. That is Status Quo, and it's called The Boring Song. Anyway, it's now 10 minutes to 7 on Radio 1, and don't forget, later on we have some graphology for you with our... I give up! That's it! Go away!
For you and me, Britain's favourite Radio 1. Singled out nightly on Radio 1.
My guests tonight are Boy George. Hi there. And D. Lewis.
Hello.
And these are the records, kicking off with a new single from Bros, I Owe You Nothing.
Singled Out on Friday nights offers the chance not only to hear the new releases, but also to hear what the artists themselves think of them too.
I've been doing Singled Out since October '87. It's only been called Singled Out for a couple of years. Before that it was Round Table. And I had a spell at doing it a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, when myself and 3 guests would actually physically sit around a round table. The records were played next door. Now you're playing records yourself, so you're a little more in command of the situation. You have control of the other people's microphones. Not that you need them. Everyone's so well behaved these days.
Yeah, you took me.
It's never in the past been a prerequisite of being a successful musician or singer that you have to be a great interviewee, but I think as we've gone into the 80s, it's almost gone hand in glove with it. If you have a big hit single, you'd go on, Swap Shop, Saturday Superstore, so you had to be able to talk suddenly. And the same with Singled Out. They obviously want to come over as best they can. Anyone would like people to think, hey, so-and-so was a great guest, weren't they?
As a mate of the band, I think it sounds better this time around. The new mix is much better than the original one. I actually prefer it to all the other singles they've had out. I think this is their best one to date, and I think it's going to be a hit.
Why do you think it didn't go first time?
I think they didn't have their faces on the cover.
The right haircuts.
I don't know. I mean, it's sometimes it takes a long time to get your foot in the door. You know what it's like. But I think it's going to go this time, obviously.
Because a lot of the time you can have a lot of talent, you can have great songs, but you've just got to get your face there, George, haven't you? You've got to get right in there, as you know, and just smack them between the eyes.
I think with Bros it's more to do with that a lot of people really fancy them, don't they? I mean, they're just really hot property. I like it, it's good. I think, again, I agree with her, it's the best thing, best song. I like it.
They have sort of transcended the teeny market now and making some good class singles.
I know, they still make me scream.
Papa Girl Rappers, featuring 2 men and a drum machine, Eat It Up. Some people maybe feel, I suppose unnecessarily, that they have to have a sort of an on-mic presence, that they have a them, whatever they've said off-mic. And other people will be totally honest and save their most ribald comments for on-air deliberately. I think some people like to be a little over the top.
20,000 tons of mix. I'm displaying, rapping up the rhythm while my rap is just playing up and never gonna stop. Drop the bass beat up while I
It's really a bit like having a couple of mates round on a Friday night. Even if it's people you don't know, you soon get to know them. It's like saying to a couple of people, hey, drop round, you know, we'll have a cup of tea, a few sandwiches, listen to a few records. And it's very much like that, and you think of the other millions of people as sort of eavesdropping, rather.
It's like that, yeah. It's like that, so heat it up. It's like that, yeah. It's like that, so heat it up. It's like that, yeah.
And it is the old, you know, the ready, steady, go syndrome. The weekend starts here. And you know that a lot of people are listening, driving home, thinking, hey, it's the weekend. And they might hear a bit of chat, the new records. I mean, maybe they're thinking, you know, what's around? I've read the music press, you know, am I going to buy some new records tomorrow so they can switch on and hear an hour and a quarter of the new releases? Bad, good, you know, ugly. Also, the music business are on their way home and they tend to listen. The artists probably tend to listen to Singled Out to see what the other artists are going to say about their records, or because they're coming on next week and they want to hear what's around. So yes, it very much is like the start of the weekend.
The weekend on Radio 1, and for that matter the nighttime too, it's a different proposition from the daytime output, featuring not only mainstream music, but also the more specialised brands of rock, reggae, soul and funk, to say nothing of documentaries and even comedy, as presented by such as Jeff Young, Robbie Vincent, The Ranking Miss P, Andy Kershaw, DLT, Tommy Vance, Annie Nightingale, Adrian Just, Andy Peebles, and Nicky Campbell. A weekend broadcasting with a difference took place in 1987 when Radio 1 took over the Pontins holiday camp in Prestatyn and presided over 2 days of, well, perhaps that's best left to the imagination.
Radio 1's constantly trying to find ways of getting out and talking to people. And not just sending one disc jockey and a producer, but the whole lot of the daytime presenters, or sometimes the weekend guys, along with producers and engineering staff and executives. And that means that, for example, we did the Pontins weekend last year in 1987. And whenever we do the weeks away that we do, which are pretty hysterical and chaotic, but tremendous fun, you'll find the disc jockeys doing 2, maybe 3 nights of discotheques, of disco appearances. And those are an integral part, again, of meeting people and of getting people to meet us. Otherwise, if we stayed in the confines of our own studio all the time, then there would be another worldliness. Is this voice belonging to a body, or is it just a shadowy figure that comes out of the ether at me?
Well, these people certainly aren't after a shadowy figure from the ether. You know, it's amazing what lengths some people will go to catch a glimpse of a real celebrity. Someone like Simon Bates, for example. But I guess some of us have got it and some of us just haven't. Or is it Simon they've come to see? Oh, I think the haircuts give it away.
One of the advantages of working for Radio 1 and having a name within Radio 1 is that the artists will tend to ignore the American radio stations and television companies that are there and will come to Radio 1 and talk to us.
You won't.
You make friends. I believe this country has the most talented musicians, and also the most generous musicians, and also engineers and producers and people who support those musicians. If we treat them with respect, they do the same to us, and I've always found them to be very generous.
Join the party, that's
Have a
fine.
party.
Yeah.
You know, don't worry about if it's cool, if it's credible, it's fun. That's what we are. We're
That's
young
right.
and fun.
Oh. Listen, fingers crossed as if you need it. Go for it. Good
Enjoy
luck.
it, Simon.
Good luck.
Enjoy it, Simon.
See you, fellas. Thank you.
Bye. See you, Simon.
Well, 7:30. Brass are about to go on stage, and for most of us, the evening's just beginning. Not all. Good night, Adrian. Sleep tight, mate. Meanwhile, Nighttime on Radio 1 continues with Liz Kershaw.
Well, you might and played a couple of live songs for us and had a bit of a chat with us. In the evening, it's the time when Radio 1, unlike a lot of commercial stations, doesn't take the safe bet and will let people hear music which otherwise they wouldn't get on any other radio station. Records, American Boys. We always assume, rightly or wrongly, that a large part of our audience is actually listening to the radio at this time of day and wants information, what label a record's on or who's in session, or information on tour dates. So they're actually listening. And you right now, the evening on Radio 1's a part of the day when you can be a bit more experimental and where if you really, really like something, you can give it an airing.
We'll stick that one on.
We played a record one night and immediately a record company rang up and said, do you know where that band have got to? So I said on the air, are you still in existence? And then the band rang up and we put the band and the record company together and they've now been signed up by this major record company.
The Rhythm Sisters and the new single, American Boys. Well, let's have something a bit more fast and frantic, shall we now? From the Damnation.
There's no greater pleasure than concentrating on something that you actually like, which is records and music and bands. So it's, many people said this before, but it's like being paid for living out your hobby 7 days a week.
I'm just playing around, baby. Work for days, men who know wheels must turn to keep the flow. Build on up, don't break the chain. Sparks will fly.
Nighttime, and one of the institutions of Radio 1, as long serving as the station itself, The John Peel Show.
Wherever the programme was, it would be as it is. At times in the past, I felt that there was a possibility that it might be moved before the Immigrants programme on a Sunday morning at about 4:30, and if it was on there or if it was on first thing in the morning, it would be essentially the same. I'd be jollier in the morning, but because obviously by 10 o'clock at night I tend to be feeling a bit tired.
Hi pals, on tonight's programme we've got sessions for you from The Wedding Present and from Germany, Freiwillige Selbstkontrolle, all the way from Germany, as we DJs say, and any number of exhilarating records, of which this from Ripcord is but the first. Some of the things I realise, if you put them on over breakfast, might cause a certain amount of alarm. But people assume when that point is made that these programmes that I do are designed in some way to provoke, you know, and to irritate. But it's not really the case. I mean, it's just that there are things that I find interesting or exciting, and I just want to play them on the radio, really. And people can take them or leave them, which of course they do. Well, it's very easy, actually, when you're discussing radio programmes and your involvement with them and who you think's listening to them, to get into kind of Bob Hope-style showbiz sentimentality of the most nauseating kind. But the truth of the matter is that I started doing radio programmes, really, that were nothing more than just playing records that I liked for my friends.
Radio 1 now broadcasts until 2 in the morning. That's 21 hours a day, 21 years of non-stop music.
My dream had always been to work for Radio 1. I mean, it is the ultimate. It's the only national radio station in the country. And it's the station that I listened to as a kid. And I suppose every disc jockey in the country wants to work for Radio 1 at some time or other.
What anybody wants to do, if they're any kind of a performer, which is what DJs are really, is they want the biggest audience for what they do. And Radio 1 has always had the biggest audience, always will have the biggest audience.
When I first began to think I'd love to be a DJ, Radio 1 was the only pinnacle. It's the only place I wanted to go in the end, and I wasn't really bothered how long it took me to get there.
I own Radio 1. Because a lot of people didn't think that at first, but it is in fact my station, and all the DJs and all the staff, all the producers, and God bless him, our little controller, I booked them all. They all work for me, and I could do a later show, but I choose to do this early spot because it's so romantic and so personal, so intimate.
Turn that thing off!
Sorry.
You put the